When it was announced that I Know What You Did Last Summer was getting the reboot sequel treatment, fans were excited but also cautious. It worked for Scream in 2022, but this slasher franchise was never as well received and its fanbase wasn't as big. The failed TV iteration a few years ago certainly didn't help. Ultimately, 2025's I Know What You Did Last Summer ended up being mildly successful at the box office and reviews weren't strong. Many lambasted the movie for being absurd and a bit over the top, yet a closer look reveals those are exactly the kinds of things we should have expected from the movie and are part of why it worked. What makes I Know What You Did Last Summer so absurd? There's no doubt that 2015's I Know What You Did Last Summer is a bit much. For starters, the sheer premise of another group of teens covering up a car crash that killed someone in the same small town as the original over 2 decades later is a bit far-fetched. That it results in another hook-wielding murderer on the loose is even harder to believe. The movie also features some hilariously over-the-top reactions from the characters and a wild twist in the end involving the returning Freddie Prinze Jr. that feels next to impossible to buy into. That said, this is all in line with I Know What You Did Last Summer. The first 2 installments are filled with wacky moments and actors hamming it up. More than any plot element, most people remember things like Jennifer Love Hewitt shouting, "What are you waiting for?" It's what the series is known for. If you go into this new version of I Know What You Did Last Summer expecting anything different, you're bound to be disappointed. The reason I Know What You Did Last Summer works in 2025 is because it's right in line with the originals. The quality of I Know What You Did Last Summer is in line with the original. 2025's I Know What You Did Last Summer ended up with a paltry 36% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. That's a bad look for most movies, but it's kind of what we've come to expect from the franchise. The 1997 iteration only sits at 47%, while the popular 1998 sequel dropped down to 10%. The straight-to-DVD 2006 sequel has a 0% rating, and a mere the 3rd of March, 10 on IMDb, while the Prime Video TV adaptation is at 42% and is the most absurd of them all. If you enjoyed any of those iterations, then the 2025 version should work for you regardless of what critics say. I Know What You Did Last Summer is camp and it wears that on its sleeve. It might not do anything fresh or groundbreaking with the concept, but it delivers on the fun bits the franchise has become so well known for. This is exactly the kind of fun slasher we need in Hollywood. A lot has been made about elevated or prestige horror releases of the past decade or so. We are in something of a golden age for the genre because modern horror films have been so great. That's fantastic, but that doesn't mean there isn't room for a goofy, fun slasher. These films were littered throughout the 80s and 90s, and while many received lackluster reviews, including I Know What You Did Last Summer, people have fond memories of them. They get rewatched consistently and are great to throw on for a good time.